Welcome back to the Marching Arts Podcast. I am the Stressmaster.
And I am Kanan, also known as the Tumor. And Phantom Regiment should have beat Crown.
I'm Jenn. I'm just going to put Suda because I'm still riding high off of last night. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a long show.
It was a long day.
Very long show.
I didn't get to bed until 3:30 in the morning, so you guys have nothing to complain about.
It's your fault for living across the pond.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot to digest after the scores last night. We're going to do our best to get through it all. Because a lot of it, I still don't agree with it. I still don't think it's right, but whatever.
There's time.
I think overall, my take on it overall is I think that for the most part, with a couple of exceptions, I think for the most part, the placings were pretty much correct. Okay? There was a couple that I would have flip-flopped, but I think overall, for the most part, that the placings were correct. I have some questions about some of the numbers and some of the gaps in numbers that I'm seeing. It's almost like the exercise was to start creating our islands of competition, if you will. And I think that some cores aren't on the right islands, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, it totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I did not watch the last few cores. I was just like, I'm tired. But everybody that I watched.
Shut up about tired.
I did.
Right
I watched
tired.
I watched the bitter
end. All right, shall we get to scores?
Yeah. Let's
go.
Okay, so what we have is the scores up on the screen. I know we kind of started off real hot and passionate about the scores, but this is why. We're going to get into it right here. Bluecoats, of course, deservingly won the show with a 93.025. And I read a Reddit comment or something like, I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch the Bluecoats this year. I just don't. And I think they're going to I think they're still tweaking their show. I don't think they're done tweaking the show yet.
Right.
They already changed the ending twice. They've changed the ending twice. I think it's much better than what it was, but some people are like, oh, it's maxed out. I go, I don't think so. I don't think we've seen the max yet of that show, but that's just my opinion on it.
So if I may real quick, so this morning, I sat down with my wife and we watched some of the highlights from yesterday. And I just thought that some of the comments that she made would be quite interesting to discuss. So I thought that my wife would absolutely love the Bluecoats. She didn't. She didn't like them. She was bored of them after about 2 minutes. And Blue Devils, she got about 3 minutes in, couldn't watch it anymore. She was over the moon about Boston. She was over the moon about Phantom Regiment. And it's funny because her relationship with drum corps kind of threw me, but at best she's a casual fan. And I think that when we talk about like corps like the Bluecoats, for instance, that I think that sometimes we take for granted that we're coming at this from a learned background. We know what we're looking for. We know what's good. We know what's bad. But to the casual fan, a lot of what they're doing is going right over people's heads, So are they untouchable? I don't think they actually are, The question is who can touch them. And if I had to say anybody, I'd say it's Boston.
Mm-hmm. I countering that, my kids, I've just introduced them finally to Drum Corps Live last week at DeKalb, and they saw the Bluecoats. And they had the opportunity to, excuse me, they had the opportunity to watch Phantom on Flow. I had it projecting on the wall, big screen. And they're like, no thanks. But man, they came in with Bluecoats, and my son literally ripped my cans off my head and was like, oh, Bluecoats. And he watched the whole thing. And I recorded it because he had a whole conversation with me, one-way conversation because he couldn't hear me respond back to him. Whole conversation about what he thought exactly about Bluecoats show. This is from the mouth of a 9-10-year-old. And he just loves that show. Fully accessible to him. But he's coming from a very blank slate. He's a kid, But
I would say, is it also because he's having had seen them live as well?
I think that's a big difference.
I would imagine that show, seeing that show live, is possibly a life-altering experience.
It really, I hate to say it, it kind of was. I mean, someone at DCP on the forum last night said their show is very dreamy. And that's the word I couldn't find last week, is their show is very dreamy. It just kind of washes over you. Even their most aggressive parts are very comforting. There's something about that show.
Yeah, I absolutely adore that show. I think it's going to win. I think it should win. And I absolutely, there isn't a single minute of the show that I don't like. I just thought that my wife's comments from that of being an outsider looking in were kind of interesting for conversation is all.
All right, let's continue on with the scores, because we're like, we haven't even started the scores.
Yep. All right.
So Blue Devils barely beating Boston by .025?
0.025, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can see the scores there. Carolina Crown.
That's really tight.
89.925. Phantom with an 89.25. I do see Phantom beating Carolina Crown. That show is still not the Phantom Regiment show has not hit its potential yet, its peak. So I have a high feeling it's going to be fourth.
Last year at this point in time, we at San Antonio, we had rolled out those tarps, and I just felt like at that point I was like, I don't know what else we can do to this show. And sure enough, everybody caught up and passed us. I do not feel that way this year at all. I feel like we're the ones that are catching up to people.
I noticed a kick halt last night for the first time.
It was in the Denton show. That was the first time.
First time I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's the thing though, is for you guys, throw in a kick halt and throw in a leg out. There's another half a point. Do you know what I mean?
Little Phantom bonus point there. All right, this was interesting here. So we have these Santa Clara Mandarins are together. We've seen that for the entire time. It used to be flipped, right?
And I think it'll flip back.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it before, and I don't want to go into negative mode, but I just still don't think the colors work for Santa Clara. I think that the red's fine for the guard, but it's the blue and red together that really is just. I don't know if it's because it's the blue on the uniform doesn't have any. They have the epaulets that are the arms that are red, and the epaulet up here that's red, but you can't really see those when they're holding up their horns. So you don't see anything on the body. It's just like blue. And that's it. There's no like different colors. So my suggestion, if anybody's watching from Santa Clara, add a red color right here in the middle. Even if it's the Santa Clara logo, something. And that would really help identify the body and help me see the drill cleaner. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Mandarins, they put on a new ending. I think they may have put it in Denton, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But I like that ending a lot better. Way better.
There's quite a few. It tells the story well. I love the beginning and the end of it. And there's something about, and I guess they went out and they gave an explanation of what their show is. There's a storyline to the characters and everything. I haven't watched it. As a casual viewer of their show, now I know what their show is about with that ending. It's got that very ghostly feel of New Orleans and all of that kind of voodoo life, And I really like the idea that they have bookended their show, almost giving it this very otherworldly approach to it. I like it. If that's wrong, that's not how their show is interpreted by them, that's fine. That's what I get out of it as a fan. So,
yeah, I like how they obviously drop the props at the beginning, and the brass line just nails you. And I like how they bring the props back up at the end. I think my other two favorite parts of the show are, I like the Latin part in the middle of it. And my favorite part of the show, because to me it's the most New Orleans part of the show, is the funeral procession.
It's the one time I'm okay with a sousaphone and drum corps.
A sousaphone is required there,
Exactly.
But to me, with Mandarins, the bit about Mandarins that I will keep coming back to is I think that they need to do something to break up color on that field. I go back to what I said in a podcast or two episodes ago when we talk about modern uniform design, how we see all these great, uniform reveals in the off season, and they're all in these lighted studios, and there's all these little tiny details that you see. You lose every one of those on that field. And I can't help but go back to every time I see mandarins on the field, I'm just seeing blue, and I'm seeing nothing else, because you lose all of those details from more than 5 yards away. For those who don't know, we have a little private chat that we had going during the show last night as well. And I think it was you, Jen, that mentioned it, that the guard uniform is so close in color to the rest of the corps as well.
And so are the
props. It's hard to differentiate them.
And so are the props. The props are the same. So everything is in that, if you look at a color wheel, everything is in that purple to blue wedge, And while that looks great up close, it's kind of becoming very muddled from far away. And that's you're viewing drum corps from far away. And so
that, they bring out is the problem.
In the closer, they bring out kind of a goldish burnt orange flag, and that's that complementary pop, that tertiary pop that they need. And this is an issue with Vanguard too, and I'll talk about color theory for a hot second. Red and blue are opposite each other on the color wheel, and they actually create a visual frequency in our eyes. Sometimes there are certain shades of red and blue that almost vibrate when you put them together. I can't look at red and blue. It hurts my eyes. That's my visual. And so red and blue are not particularly supposed to be used together because they are a clashing complementary color. Complementary doesn't mean they go well together. It means they're opposite each other. So it's in a color theory, it's a big risk to do the red and blue. And some people love it, and I just have a hard time looking at it. But I will say with Vanguard, it looks better under lights and at night. So now that they're done with their due process of having taken last year off as far as when they perform, I think it looks so much better. Like, it looked so much better under dark lights and under night sky. So yay for that. But mandarins, they need to do something. It's all kind of very messy.
Yeah, so finishing up my comment on mandarins, what I would say is that to me, it's just when we're talking about readability, it's the same issue that I have with Blue Devils, for instance. I just find the mandarins so difficult to read. Because a bit like Blue Devils, they're quite dense in their drill. They're not using the whole field for much of the show. A lot of it is done, within the boundaries of those props. And then when you've got so much color, like you said, within that same quadrant of the color wheel, I too know color theory, by the way, because I do a lot of painting. So,
yes.
But yeah, so to me, it just becomes a bit of a muddled mess. And I think but the reason I mention is I think it's actually quite an easy fix. It's something as simple as a bit of gold on the uniform, or something along those lines.
That tertiary color,
just to break it up. Now, going to Vanguard, I don't have as much of a problem with the blue and the red as a color palette, so to speak. I just don't like the uniforms, quite frankly. But outside of that, I can't put my finger on it. I can't quite put my finger on it. But when I look at Vanguard, and it's not just a lack of props, although I do think that modern drum corps has evolved to the point that we do need some sort of staging. We don't necessarily need to build a small town on the field, but I do think that we need some sort of staging. But the word that I use whenever I watch Vanguard is it just feels thin, if that makes any sense at all. Visually especially, it just feels really thin. And I'm not quite sure if I'm just talking out my backside here or not. But
no.
So then we got our next island here.
Next island. So the next island is Blue Stars and Cavaliers.
This was my surprise of the night. Blue Stars passing Cavaliers. And only because I've been sleeping on Blue Stars. And they have made a ton of progress from like Muncie. And I missed them in DeKalb. But I remember walking up to the gate, I was walking by the end zone, and I was like, that's Blue Stars? Wow, look at them go, So they've made a ton of progress and appropriate changes, So they added the silver tunics, which I love the silver, sequiny, sparkly, but the length dirties their legs a bit. And it's the same complaint I have with Blue Devils. So they're going to have to work extra hard on cleaning up their feet with those tunics. So
I think Colts are going to end up on that island with Blue Stars and Cavaliers, and I do think that Colts will ultimately pass Cavaliers as well. I think 10th is probably the ceiling of this Cavaliers show. My notes that I wrote last night, if you indulge me, is Blue Stars, big brass sound. I really like the color palette. Would have maybe liked some more references to this being their 60th anniversary. They move and play really well. Brass is a definite highlight for me. This is the first Blue Stars show in recent memory that I've enjoyed and has held my attention for the entire show. Everything I didn't like about last year is not in this show.
I do like their show. It's growing on me.
All right, let's move along. We're already 26 minutes in the video. 26 minutes in the video, and we haven't gotten to the 12th place yet. Okay. Yeah, Colts. So 83-35. So the Colts and the Troopers, for a long time, they're together. Now Troopers are kind of starting to, fall away a little bit. So
when I'm looking at the Colts, that's what I'm thinking. They're the first victims, if you will. My notes on the Colts were basically around, holy crap, they move a lot.
They have a lot of drill.
There is a lot of velocity in that show, and I love visual velocity. So I'm digging the show. I really genuinely am. And I liked their show last year as well. So
I loved their show last year. They got this right placement-wise today or yesterday. I will see what happens the rest of the season.
Yeah, what I would say is I think they got the placement right today, but I think that they need to be very careful because I can see Crossman and Blue Knights joining that party very, very quickly. And I think that if anybody between 11th and really 15th, I think can place anywhere in any one of those positions.
This went from a 12 to 16 race to an 11 to 14 race.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in this area here, 12, 13, 14. This is really what's going to be. Look how close everybody is. I mean, less than a point.
I mean, it's Madison and Crossman are .025, if I can do my math. I think that's what it is. That's a hiccup. That's like someone dropped a stick. And if Madison, but I did make a comment in the subcaptions. Madison came in 18th in percussion. My friend is telling me they think it might be a front ensemble issue, that they've got to work with the front ensemble versus the battery. I don't know.
Because their batteries seem pretty sound.
And if you look at the Core Clash app and you look at, because they always give you the progress, right? The score went up. It's not like they tanked last night. The score was consistent from the score the night before. So there's something going on with the percussion front ensemble unit that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, that's what's going to hold them back from making progress. No offense, guys. But that's such a razor thin margin. But even if I give them back that 1.4 that puts their percussion section in 12th place, they're still 4/10 behind Troopers. So that's not,
Can I point out though? Holy crap! The Madison Scouts might make finals this year, guys.
I'm rooting hard. I want Scouts on Saturday night. On Saturday night.
My notes on Scouts were. Where have I put them here? Hold on a second. Where have they gone? Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see if this core is for real. So I just wrote my notes as I was going, by the way, guys. Let's see if this core is for real. We've had a habit over the last few years of showing strong until San Antonio and then kind of fading away. And then my next comment was, well, holy crap. For the first time in literally years, I heard the Madison Scouts.
Yeah.
I heard the Madison Scouts last night.
And remember when a week or so ago, I messaged you guys and said, holy crap, I hear the Madison Scouts sound in the brass, remember?
Yeah.
And I said, I started hearing it. I started hearing that Madison sound where it's that the baritone and the mellophone with the soprano or trumpet like on top with that little piercing edge that Madison has, and I heard that a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Dang it, there's the Madison Scouts," and I can hear them.
And if you jump into the subcaptions, if you jump into the recaps and look at it, there's a ton of first GE judge tanked them, put them in like 15th or 16th, but there's a ton of 11th place and just that one GE judge and the progression score. But so they are on the heel. They're nipping at troopers. So they're not going to go quietly.
Let's go ahead and go down the rest of them, and then we'll get into recaps because we're commenting a lot, which is great, but we're going to have a really long video.
All right, it was a really long show.
It's fine. It was a long show. Yeah.
It was. So here's all the scores. I'm going to highlight them just so we can see them a little better. So Crossman and Blue Knights, we talked about, they're really close. Crossman has been in the top 12 up until now, until San Antonio area. Blue Knights was also up there at one point. So you never know. Like you said, it just could be. But I think Madison is going to keep going to at least 11th.
Their kids are super hungry. They've finally gotten a taste of success, and their kids are super hungry.
And they deserve it. They deserve it as well.
Yeah. All right, so we got Pacific Crest, and then this is the next chunk here. Is Pacific Crest, Spirit of Atlanta are together. Like score-wise, pretty close. All right, let's continue forward. We've got a lot more cover. Academy. Actually, I'm gonna be upfront. I think Academy has the best use of props in all of DCI this year. They have the best use of props. I actually love the doors. I love how they're using the doors as motifs all the way through the show. They utilize them really, really well. So kudos to Academy, because that the show design honestly is probably, I think, one of the best in all of DCI in terms of the way that they use the doors. They move them, they stage them, but the problem is they're spending a lot of time moving them, and that can become a hindrance too, because now you have people not playing, they're just moving stuff. But I think they use the props so well, just so perfectly. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick, if I may, real quick on Academy. This was another core that I thought was a victim of the draw. Remember, they went on right before intermission. And of course, they're trying to jump up to have a crack at Spirit of Atlanta. And you see nearly a 2.5 point gap there. I don't think that's by accident. I agree with everything you said, Justin. I think that up to this point in the show as well, this was a definite step up in class, up to this point in the show. My only complaint really about that show, I think their uniforms look great, by the way. I think they have awesome looking uniforms. Now, I marched the Freelancers. Jen, you marched the Freelancers. And Justin, you marched the Freelancers. So this bit that I'm about to say may be a little bit blasphemous, but there's too much red, black, and silver in that show.
Why? How dare you? How dare you, sir?
You're dead to me.
Retract that statement.
They need some contrasting color. I just think that there's.
I love it. I love it because the white doors act as a bouncing board for that color. But you're entitled to your opinion, of course. But how are you going to go wrong? How are you going to go wrong with red, black, and chrome?
I know, right?
I mean, really, it's the only colors that need to be on the color palette. Let's be honest.
And again, as a Phantom Regiment alum, I also agree.
You just went from one red, black, and chrome core to another, didn't you?
I did.
So we have Music City. So Music City, actually, they've had some great shows the last 3 years. Just
surprised
great
the hell out
show
of me.
concepts.
I enjoyed the hell out of that show.
Were they the one? Did they do the Rose show last year?
Yes.
No.
Okay, see, I wasn't a fan of that.
The Rose show? That was Madison, wasn't it?
No, Every Rose has a thorn.
Oh.
Yeah. No offense, Music City.
They did a show in 2022 called Gas and Rainbows or something like that? That was a cool show. Gasoline and Rainbows.
These last Academy through Music City, Genesis, Seattle Cascades, Jersey Surf, their shows they're a great primer of introduction to drum corps without being too esoteric.
Okay, so you guys have to tell me, because I did not get to see Genesis Cascades. I've seen before, and I saw Jersey Surf, but I missed these two between.
So I could talk about Genesis. Much bigger. They're smaller, I think, than they were last year.
I don't know. I thought they had a good sound. I thought they looked good.
No, I'm talking physically smaller than they were last year, I think.
Not by a huge chunk, though.
I think they sounded bigger than they did last year. However, I liked the show. I thought they were good. I thought they performed very, very well. I think they were underscored. I think they were underscored by probably about 2 points. But my only, I don't know if complaint, it's more of a comment. Everything I liked about Genesis last year is missing from this show. And what I mean by that is that last year they had that slight quirkiness to them, with the whole pre-show and the whole show generated by AI. Oh,
they had the trivia. That's right.
And to me, when I look at that show, that sucked me in straight away. I was invested from the second that they came on the field, and I didn't have that investment in this show. Was it good? Yes, I thought it was good. I think that they'll make a very solid DCI semifinalist this year, and I will enjoy watching their show. But like I said, I wasn't as bought into the concept right from the off like I was last year.
All right.
I miss Seattle Cascades. Jersey Surf, I think my only comment for them is they just need more runs under their belts. They need to shake off the jitters. And they need to learn how to perform. But it's a fun show.
Yeah.
Cascades had a nice show. I don't know if you guys saw it. I watched it. So the thing with Cascades, nice show, smaller core. I like the uniforms. They do something pretty clever with their lighthouse at the end of the show that I thought was pretty cool. So they've got this. I don't know if we saw the preseason show art, didn't we, Justin, with the lighthouse in the image. So they've actually got that lighthouse on a hinge, right? So at the end of the show, they actually flip the lighthouse up, and it becomes a giant telescope, which I thought worked really, really well. Jersey Surf, love the look. Love. They
just need to fully invest in it. Yeah, and that
Strangely enough, though, the uniforms actually look better in natural daylight than they do under stadium lights. But, and that's probably by design. But yeah, the big thing is they just need. I think that the bones of the show is quite good. I was entertained from beginning to end. I think you said it, Justin, that. What is Hip needs to be cranked up about 50 beats a minute. It's just slow. But to me, the big thing that I saw from them last night was you can just tell that they haven't performed the show beginning to end very much. Okay? And nothing makes you perform better than performing. So, if they could I think they need to just get out of their heads and loosen their hips, for crying out loud. My goodness. It's funk, for crying out loud. Just get down with it. And I think that if they just get some performance reps under their belt, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I could see them easily cracking up another 18th, 19th place.
3 old crotchety, cranky ex-freelancers. We all want What Is Hip to burn, because that is that is like epitome of freelancers, 84 freelancers, and I can put that on my record player and get up and dance. So that make me get up and dance, Jersey Surf. Make me get up and dance.
I'm a guy who's seen Tower of Power live about a dozen times.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think, like you said, they have the most colorful uniforms ever. I love them. I love how they continue it on in their props too, but under different colors. But it's kind of that same sweeping, ocean. It's surf, right? It's surf.
Yeah.
So the props are the props and the guard uniforms specifically are based off of the artwork of Peter Max. If you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the big giant props they have.
The prop reminds me of. Yeah. It reminds me very Earth, Wind, and Fire, very Tower of Power, but it also reminds me of the cartoon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That it reminds me of that artwork in there too.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Electric Company for the
Electric
win.
Company, yes.
Gen X. Right. We're all Gen Xers here.
All right, I'm going to pull up the recaps. We're going to have to...
hey, can I give a shout-out? I want to give a shout-out to Guardians, because this was the end of their season while we're going into recaps. Yeah, this was the end of their season. They weren't going past Texas tour. They had some money issues. So good job to those kids for doing their tour, and I'm sorry that you're not getting to finish the tour. I understand that. I wish the very best for their organization next year. I do hope they come back and they're able to be a little bit more financially stable. Also, a big shout out to Zephyrus. They're doing great things. I see them being. This is their second year out. They came out in 22, so they did 22, 23. This is their third year as a sound sport. And so I don't know what the next steps are to get open class designation, but I do hope that they continue this upward trajectory because they sounded great.
All right. Recap. So with the 4 GE judges, 2 for each section. One's music, one is one music, one visual. GE.
Yes,
I think that's the way it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're just going to look at totals.
If I'm correct, I believe GE1 is visual, GE2 is music. Is that correct?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So it's pretty much, look at this. It's straight down. There's no flip-flopping in the top 10. It's literally 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. This is where Crown and Regiment were the closest with less than 1/10 of a point.
Yeah, look, it's 0.025.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then also 0.5 right here, 0.05 for Boston Blue Devils. And Bluecoats 37. So everybody's pretty close in the top 3. The top 3 is really cool, tight, and then it looks like 4th and 5th are tight.
It gets interesting past 10th.
Yeah.
Let's roll one down. I'm just going to look at this. Yeah, here it flips a little
Look
bit.
at that cutoff around 12.
Look at Troopers 11th, and then Madison with 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
this
then
is where Crossman took
12th. Yeah, interesting. Okay, and then it goes straight on down pretty much, except for Jersey Surf got 20th.
Yeah.
So, good for Jersey Surf. Okay, I'm going to scroll over. Make sure I'm not screwing it. There we go. Okay, all right. Now we got to scroll it back up. I'll get to the bottom captions in a second, or the open class.
The visual's crazy.
Look at this. One tied for a second here between Blue Devils and Boston. Blue Devils got color guard.
Blue Devils got guard?
4th. Wow.
No,
yeah.
We did. Yeah, see, I'm telling you.
Sorry, Boston.
No, Boston got color guard. Yeah.
Sorry, flipping around.
I went Boston, Crown, Devils, Bluecoats.
Yeah, and then there's a huge jump. Look at this jump.
Yeah.
0.6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's noticeable. I will say, it's, as far as color guard goes, and I'll make this brief because we have gone long. I wanted to talk about the color guard a little bit. That first couple of minutes of rifle work in the Blue Devils guard book is extraordinary. And they're so good. And it's not even that, just their rotations are so fast. And they're doing things on different angles. And it is... I watched the Blue Devil show through blinders, color guard blinders last night. I listened to the horns. It's fine because it's noisy. I ignored the horn lines visual package. I ignored the drill. I only watched the choreography. And do not sleep on that color guard. They could run away. If Boston has a bad night, has a bad week, Blue Devils could easily take the Zingali again. Carolina Crown has absolutely beautiful body work they have the best bodies under their equipment in DCI. They don't look, they have a ballet aesthetic. I've always loved Crown. As a modern performer, if I were a modern performer now, I might eyeball Crown as a guard I would go to. They are stunning under their equipment. And they're also spinning. Their opening flag statement, beautiful. And I mean, I can't, Boston's Boston. They're great. They're fantastic. I don't necessarily like their choreo under their equipment. It's a little cheer teamy for me. Lots of baton body under it, which is everybody wants to see an illusion, but I'm tired of it a little bit. But that's Boston. They're great. They're great at what they do.
Look at this little gem.
Look at that little gem. Isn't that crazy?
Second.
But look at the visual proficiency. They have us in 6th, and then the visual analysis for 2nd. It's insanity.
Well, look at this. It's from first down to here. It's all everywhere, right? They got first. Here's 2nd Blue Devils in visual, and then 5th Boston Crusaders, 3rd Crown, and then this caption is 4th, 3rd, and 5th.
Yeah, Blue Mandarins are in 4th in visual proficiency. I mean, it's all over the place.
I just don't see how you guys get an 8, 9, and 6th place in visual content when I think you guys probably have. I say you guys. We're talking about Phantom, of course, for those who don't know. When I think that Phantom has more content than probably anybody in the top 6. I don't see how you get 6th place in content there. It
just could be some cleaning proficiency,
or it could just be some slotting. I think it's a bit of slotting as well.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. But thanks to Judge Mr. Baker, whoever you are, that's a great thank you.
All right, let's move on down the neighborhood here. So, okay, so there's a pretty big jump here between Regiment, Vanguard, and Mandarins. Mandarin is on being Vanguard, which they should be, I think, in that area, a visual. Blue Stars and Cabbies tied.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
to me, it'll never stop looking weird to see a number 8 in visual next to Cabbies.
Why is that?
Their opener is great. The rest of the show lags. Visually, their opener is the strongest part.
For 20 years, that core was untouchable visually.
Yeah, true that. Look at this.
Look at
12.
Yeah.
What is that? And now, what is that? Content?
That's
achievement. Achievement.
That's color guard. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Colts Troopers in 13th.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
And then Madison Scouts in 11th.
So look at Madison.
For the last 3 years, visual has been Troopers' weakness. So that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah,
and we'll keep going.
The Trooper success of the last few years has been based around GE and percussion.
Yeah, true that. Okay, nothing else surprising here. Jersey Surf though beats Genesis. He's in Jersey Surf beat in visual. Interesting.
I'm telling you that surf show's got bones in it. It does.
It does, yeah. Oh, now we're in music.
Yeah, let's scroll up.
Okay. Music.
Sorry, everybody, for the scrolling.
That's all right.
Okay, so looks like Blue Devils took brass for music brass. They got 3rd music analysis. Okay, that makes sense because they always have a great sound. Let's see here. 2nd, 3rd. So they got 3rd overall. 2nd went to Boston. Point difference not that great. Oh, look at that. It's barely 0.2.
Overall.
Personally, I had Boston winning brass last night.
The big conversation right now is that Carolina is in 4th in brass, and they're only 1/10 ahead of Regiment in brass.
I think it's Carolina's where they should be. Yeah, I think it's a content thing. I think Carolina's right where they should be in brass, but no, I think Gino Cipriani has got Boston Crusaders brass line absolutely playing their asses off right now, and I think that it's criminal that they didn't win brass last night. I'll say it outright.
I think they should. There's some really beautiful moments in that show that are just crystal clear. And so I think that'll flip. I mean, Blue Devils' opening statement, you could hear it 3 counties over, but it's all top end brass. So I think there's something about Blue Devils' book where there's not a lot of bottom brass in it. So, but they're just loud.
They're always very loud. Mm-hmm. And then there was quite a few years where it was extremely top heavy, where all you heard was trumpet and mellophone. You didn't hear baritone, you didn't hear tuba.
That's how I feel about this year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's scroll on down the neighborhood here. So these are the totals. You guys can see them here. I don't need to go over those. Here's where it got a little interesting.
Percussion, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did. Yeah. In this area here is where I want to talk about. So I don't know if I can do this or not, but it's basically the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 area. Because once again, they're grouped, and they're by grouping: Santa Clara Vanguard and Mandarins, Blue Stars and Cabbies, and then Troopers and Colts. Like everybody's kind of grouped in 2s. You know what I mean? Boop, 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 boop. So nothing surprising.
Yeah, and when you're looking at like percussion scores as well, Vanguard doesn't surprise me. They're in fourth. It doesn't surprise me one bit because that whole show is basically written around the battery, and they've had 2 years to write that show. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. They've not missed anything there.
This is Madison's color guard score here. That's very low.
No, it's percussion score.
Is that percussion? Sorry, percussion. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know one thing. Color. Yeah, it's really low.
Yep.
Wow.
But like I said, if you adjust that for 12th place, it still doesn't move them out of 12th place. So they've got to, but that's going to, as everybody else cleans up behind them, if they don't fix that, Blue Knights will pass them.
That's 2 points between them Trooper. 2 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. That's a lot.
Right, let's try this again. So we'll try me sharing the screen this time because it all got screwed up last time. Let's have a watch of the 2024 Scouts from last night.
Yes.
I don't know if this is the previous take or this take, but I'll say it anyway. So I was a little bit nasty, earlier in the video of kind of, the king of hot takes and all that. So I wanted to talk about drum majors real quick. And like I said, in a death cage match, if you will, I would always select Phantom Regiment's drum major as my representative. Except for this year. Have you guys seen that unit that is conducting the troopers? My God.
That's the perfect selection for a conductor, for a drum major, for that show. He is frightening, but he's probably also the nicest guy.
He's probably the nicest, gentlest guy you'll ever meet, but he looks like he can tear you limb to limb. So,
it's perfect.
Anyway, speaking of drum majors, let's find out how the names of the 17 Madison Scouts drum majors by pressing play, shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
17 of them.
Everybody's got like 17 drum majors.
I know.
Drum majors: Lex Rodriguez Montero, Paige Shumney, Jana Paulson, and Andrew Schulte. Is your corps ready?
Okay, I'm excited to see and actually hear it.
Hear it this time? Oh, it's great.
Because I only listened to like part of it when I was driving in my car. And of course I was...
2024 program, Mosaic. Drum Corps International is proud to present
Kanan.
the Madison Scouts.
Move your cursor.
I have.
Oh, it's my cursor.
This will be nice cranked up on the video that everybody's going to see, so the sound will be great. Nice opening sequence here.
The color guard is young, but they're good, and they're placing well, and they've got some maturity to gain, but...
I'm assuming everybody's all past the Madison Scouts has girls in it now, yes? We're past that stage now, right, good.
Yes.
If you're not past this stage, then you know what, this probably ain't the podcast for you. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you have the audio cranked up for them? Oh, thank you. Ooh, nice sound.
It's a good opening statement.
Whoa. Wow, I know tears.
Madison Scouts are back.
I love it. Love it. Yes.
Welcome back, old friend. It's been a while since we've seen you.
You know, they have these little motifs throughout the show that harken back to that little Latin style, that swagger that we loved in the 90s. It's great. Great arrangement. There you go, guard.
Nice. I would love to see this live.
Yeah. I'm really sad that I missed it in DeKalb now.
This is probably my fourth or fifth viewing of the Scouts this year, and what I would say is that every viewing that I've seen, the kids seem more confident in the show that they're performing. And it's like, I'm pretty sure they're starting to believe that, you know what, we might actually be a finalist this year. That's a great feeling as well when you realize it. I don't care what anyone says, nobody wants to end their season on a Friday night.
No. I made a comment before that I wish I could see a little bit more personal use of the props in this first segment, but
you're also hearing a lot of that Madison Scouts writing, especially in the brass section, that do-ah and stuff like that over the top. I'm a big fan of this section.
Well, they're featuring each section, upper, middle, and lower brass.
Nice tuba sound there.
The only comment I would have is, like, in the baritone parts, they're not playing it in the upper register, really.
It's kind of a thing with modern brass arranging, though, where what was traditionally the upper baritone parts are now played by the middle horns.
But it just has a different sound when the baritone's playing in the upper register. You know what I mean?
I like how they're interacting with the props as well.
Yeah. There you go. Yes, and the rifles, great moment.
Oh, nice. Doing a lot of quick visuals, have you noticed that? Like a lot of real quick, just horns down, horns up, turn, go. Like aggressive.
Watch at the very end of the show for the traditional Madison brass visual as well, of the hand on the hip and the horn up.
Yeah. The crowd is excited for them. That's a great fade into the ballad. Like, that's from all this energy, they just funnel it really well into that ballad.
Ooh, nice. You hear that? That dissonance?
Ooh. I like the baritone, the upper baritone part there.
Yeah. Wow, that's some great playing there.
I like this. I don't know. There's something about this. It's so...
I said before, it's kind of like almost like a James Bond type feel to it. So it's a lovely build as well.
I do have, like I said before, a little bit of a criticism of this form. I feel like it's kind of hidden behind the stick props that aren't doing anything. And, you know.
Yeah, to me the form's not doing anything.
Yeah, I'd like to see that change. And that there's room to change it. Yeah.
Well, that and it doesn't look clean. It looks like it's supposed to be a form, but it's not, so.
Right. Something about it.
Strangely enough, I don't like Sam Smith, and this is one of my favorite parts of the show.
I know. Well, when you have young kids that listen to YouTube and you hear every take of this melody, but I like it. Ouch. Yeah, that little Malagania kind of hint.
I mean, I'm talking about those percussion scores at 18th place. I'm not seeing the battery's clean, so it must be something that, like you said, with the front ensemble, because I'm not seeing it. Finish it.
I like the use of Miriam, stop. I like the use of the props when they turn them perpendicular. They hide the color and then boom, color. I like it. Flag statement.
That's a big yellow flag statement.
A lot of energy going into the end.
Okay. All right.
Standing O.
Under the direction of David Lopi from Madison.
Yeah.
I
Justin?
need a minute. Hold on. I need a minute.
Okay. All right. So I want to speak from a perspective. Miriam. Sorry, my daughter is sneaking in. I want to speak from a perspective of being in a drum corps that sank to the 12th place. And there isn't good drum corps without the Madison Scouts or without Phantom Regiment. I hate to say it. You know, people emotionally are attached to the Madison Scouts and desperately want them back in 12th, regardless of where their kids are marching or where they marched. Drum corps is not drum corps without the Madison Scouts. And my brother is an alum. Madison Scouts are in our family. It is so good. I have been willing, and my heart has been with this corps for so long. And to have them play like that last night was just such an emotional, like, yes, you know, it's such a win. I mean, I'm so excited to see them playing like that. I want them to hang on. They've got some things they need to fix, you know, obviously with that percussion score. I only get to go to Indianapolis for Saturday night. I want so badly to see them on Saturday night. So, yeah. Welcome back, Madison. So good to see you.
My take is, as I said, welcome back, old friend. You know, this wasn't, you know, Madison's hard times wasn't like other corps' hard times. It wasn't money. It wasn't any controversy. They just fell out of top 12 and found it really hard to get back in. And I think that's a testament to the quality of that 11 to 17 bracket, if you will. You know, falling out of top 12 is a really, really big deal. It would have been untold damaging had Phantom Regiment fallen out of top 12, you know, in 2019. And you guys damn near did, you know. And as evidenced by the Madison Scouts, this isn't some fly-by-night organization, you know. And it's not like they haven't been trying. They've put out a drum corps every year. And for whatever reason, it's just not worked. You know, what I like about this show is that there's very little about the show that I don't like, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's a couple of things that there's a little tweak here and there and stuff like that, you know. You know, but overall, there's nothing I really don't like. And I think what I said about Jersey Surf is probably the same comment that I would say about the Madison Scouts, is just perform it more. If they, and I think that they're in a position now, they're in a lucky position coming out of San Antonio, that we're not in oh shit mode, if you know what I mean.
Right.
We're not in the, because this is the time now where those cores that are sat outside looking in kind of have the potential to start making some panic changes. And those panic changes can go one of two ways, And Madison's got the luxury of not having to do that. Just clean what you got and perform it more, And I think this show's only going to get better. So yeah. As I said, welcome back, old friend.
Their core director put out a message to parents personally after, I think it was the Denton show, the Broken Arrow show, where they came in kind of in that 12th place slot, saying, hey, this is an invitation to keep continuing the work. When you talk to your kids, don't let their heads get in the way. Encourage them to keep working. Encourage them to keep focusing. So they recognize that they can't let their egos, and they can't sit back on their laurels and be like, hey, we got it. Let's just coast to the end.
That's such a valuable comment. They have to stay humble and they have to stay hungry.
Yeah. Exactly. So well done to their core director for reaching out to the parents also who talk to their kids every day and said, make sure they stay motivated and focused, because the season's not over yet.
No, far from it.
All right. So I have a prediction. They're going to take 10th or 9th.
Really?
I think the show has the mojo, it has the momentum, it has the vibe. Yeah, it's got the vibe, it's got everything. And I think what's really smart about it, and I've done this in some of the shows I've designed, if you make the moves very aggressive in the show, it's going to motivate the kids during the show, you know what I mean? As opposed to like a 4 count move, more of like And then
yeah. We've killed him.
You're getting old. Do you need a water break now after that?
No, I think you're right. Like, and that's a maturity thing in the color guard too. That kind of aggressive, swagger that they're still working on in the guard, because the guard is super young. I have a friend who has a kid in the guard, and I think they're having a great summer, and it's fun to see that perspective. But I think, what we'll see at the end of the year is going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, I don't know, I swallowed something, Give me a second.
Sure.
Give me a moment. All right. Oh, God, dang. I swallowed at the same time I was breathing. So, and I think what the show does have legs, and I think it has more room to grow. Mm-hmm. I don't think the show's capped yet, but I think that if you have confidence in your show and the design is good, which the design's really good, and they can clean up, it's really the percussion now that's kind of, that's 2 points. Mm-hmm. That's 2 whole points. Then it's aggregated, of course, or it's percentage-wise, but that's still a lot of points, right? They can easily get, I think, 10th place.
I think they can easily get 11th. I think they can beat the Troopers. Can they beat Cavaliers? If Cavaliers stay in that 9th, 10th. You really think so?
I think this show can beat Cavaliers' show. I genuinely do.
That's some throwdown. I don't know. I mean,
the question is, are they allowed?
Are they allowed?
Does politics
There's that
allow?
Politics, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the hype for Madison is going to be strong when they get to finals.
Madison and Phantom have all the hype.
So tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think? Do you think Madison's going to take 10th? Do you think they're gonna keep moving up? Where do you guys think everybody's going to land? Right?
And will Phantom put people in the spinning cubes?
The spinning cubes.
I don't know.
Those will become the spinning cubes of death, and I hope to God they put the mellophones in there. I want to see a mellophone player slung 30 yards off the top of one of those things.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here, but thank you guys so much for joining us. Please make sure you visit our community page. Please make sure that you check out everything we have to offer there. We have memberships. We have a store where you can buy cool merch, like hats and t-shirts and jackets and onesies for your baby and for your dog. Yay. Believe it or not, there's everything on there for everybody. So thank you guys so much.
You know what? I might order one of them onesies for the dog, by the way, because in October, we're doing a motorhome trip up to the north of Scotland. So,
ooh, you'll need it.
My little pooch might be cold. He might have to put a onesie on his bits. So
I love it.
Hey, do you know it's crazy as well? It's so I'm a stats nerd, and good news, Justin. We have cracked 60% of people watching our videos.
Oh, cool!
Are subscribed. It's now 59% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribed.
Oh, I'll take it. All
right.
Because at one point it was 68%. So that's
it's crazy.
And we're only 2,200.
When all you got to do is just press the subscribe button. It's no big deal.
Yes, hit the subscribe button. Now, 2,200 other people have already subscribed. Do you want to be left out? Don't you want to be part of the crowd, the in crowd? Please subscribe. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you on the next, the midweek recap, which I will be doing midweek, of course. Yeah. Just kind of give you guys, and then we'll jump on the Saturday one for next week. So thank you guys so much.
And, I'm going to be doing a midweek as well, a deep dive of Jersey surf. So
sweet.
All right.
Okay, cool. Look forward to that.
I'm going to take the week off. I'll see you on Sunday.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one. Until then.
As I always say, no matter who you're doing it with, no matter when you're doing it, no matter how you're doing it, or no matter where you're doing it, just when you're doing it, make sure that you
march on.
March on.
March on.